What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trent, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And you see, we got my guy, Reese, here. Reese, how's everything with you, man?
I cannot complain, partner. You already know I'm here to talk hoops. Let's get it.
Oh, big facts, big facts. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all have watched before, right? We talk about a lot of sports. I'm going to even try to get rugby up here one day. Like, rugby might be a sport we're going to talk about. But today it's hoops, and we did a disservice to the league. We did do a little disservice to the league. I want to apologize. Reese, I feel like we got to talk about a lot. But we got to start off right with the NBA prediction, or with the NBA Rookie of the Year predictions. Yep. So, like I said, we about 10 games in now. We did do this one a little late. Who was your Rookie of the Year before the season started? Like who was your? Let's be honest about it.
Before the season started, I would have had to go Keegan Murray because I felt like I personally want to see Sacramento do well.
Okay.
I was not expecting. So prior to Keegan Murray would have been my pick. 10 games in, they've kind of had him running this like pseudo 6-man type of thing. Like, he hasn't started every game, which I did not expect at all. And so that was kind of disappointing. I thought he was kind of going to be able to show up, especially if you're looking at his numbers. I mean, the man's hitting like 2 to 3 threes a game, you know what I mean, off the bench, which is crazy for him, for his shooting to have transferred that well. I mean, he looked great in the preseason, but I just didn't think once that NBA speed really caught up to him that he would be shooting that well. And so prior to the season, it was definitely going to be Keegan Murray. And honestly, I'm going to stick with him to kind of hold it out to the end as well. I think if that Sacramento team can get turned around and he really gets into that starting role and really puts an imprint on that team and maybe even takes them to the kind of the playoffs, and I kind of have a comp for why this may not go how I wanted to go, but I'm going to let you the people about your pick for real quick.
Okay. I went Paolo, Duke fan, right? First pick, opportunities out there, starting easy, like arguably the star of the team already. And not to mention, I think people are going to be sleeping on this Magic team. Are they going to win the NBA championship? No. But, like, can they be competitive? Yes. And they have been showing that thus far. They've been extremely competitive. Shout out to that team, because they've also been dealing with injuries. And again, they're competitive, and right. Paolo's at the helm of that team. So I thought at the beginning it's Paolo, and I'm glad you brought up Keegan Murray too, because in the summer league, they both battled one another, that overtime game where I think the Kings actually came back, and the Kings eventually won that game. I thought that was I'm glad that you brought that up, because they just recently played, and when I saw the two battle, right, I'm like, all right, now it's not a big game really. It's a regular season game between the Magic and the Kings. Again, neither team are contenders, but when I'm thinking Rookie of the Year race, I do remember moments like the Summer League, moments like, okay, these head-to-head battles. These are big-time moments. Like, it's a Rookie of the Year award, so it's a yearly award. It's a year award. Like, you got to take the whole body award, but I'm going to remember moments like this. All right, Keegan got the best of Paolo now 2 times. So you can say it didn't count before. It counts now. So I did like your pick. Are you changing your pick at all from Keegan Murray now that we're 10 games in?
No, I'm so, and that's what I was saying. So I'm going to stick with Keegan to the end. Paolo has been the standout, but like I said, since Keegan hasn't been starting, it's really disappointing for him.
Now I gotta say now, out of 7 games that Keegan has played, he started 5 of them though. So like that's on par with what I thought he was gonna be doing. So
I'm thinking he's coming in from the beginning and really kind of taking it by the horns. And I said this because what I wanted these two guys to be, and Paolo was kind of giving this already. And I needed it more for Murray in terms of him kind of starting and getting those like big time minutes as well, because I wanted another Bron Melo. And I feel like the way that Paolo is playing, he's definitely can give. I mean, he's the only guy I think who first night, right, 25, 5 and 5 or something like that. He was the stat. And then he just had another like 30 and 15 game. Again, I think Braun was the only other guy to do that as a rookie as well. But I need him. I really thought Keegan, especially seeing his shooting ability. Again, I did not think he was going to be that good of a shooter. But I was thinking that if the Kings could make it to the playoffs, not necessarily on his back, but him being a major contributor, we would see kind of like, all right, what is really more important, team success or individual player numbers?
I think rookie of the year, right? It's about the rookie, so it's got to be individual. I think team success definitely matters, and it factors in heavily. Again, those individual, like those matchups between the Magic and the Kings, you're going to remember. Again, the Magic are a competitive team, so I can't just say, oh, the Kings had a much better squad, because they really don't. Also, De'Aaron Fox was not playing, so that also factors in to Keegan Murray starting a few more games. He might have been coming off the bench initially, because you still got Harrison Barnes in there, who's an effective a small forward, power forward combo. And I think eventually that transitions. I also thought Herter was going to come off the bench, but he's been playing some good minutes.
And they got Malik Monk coming off the bench, which I thought it would be.
I actually wanted Monk to come off the bench. He's a sixth man for me. He's the type where if he gets hot, keep him in the game. But he's not going to be hot all the time. But I understand too, especially how he played last season for the Lakers. You might have thought, okay, he might need to be a starter because, like, I do get that too.
Because going from a changing role, some guys can do it. You know what I mean? Going from a starter, going to a six man. Some guys can come off the bench in that 6-man role. I mean, virtually cold. You know what I mean? You warm up all day, then you got to sit kind of those first 6-7 minutes. And then once you come in, it's kind of like you've had to – it's also a good opportunity to kind of see what the pace of the game is, see where you can probably affect the game the most. But, like, for some guys, where you could probably help the game the most, you might not have that in your game.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
I'm curious, too, what made you, I guess, hesitant to believe that Keegan Murray was going to – I wasn't going to transition his shooting, because when I first saw Keegan Murray shooting, right, I was like, I read the comparison and he's like a Kawhi Leonard. I'm like, bro, that's a lot. But I see the physical tools. You know, he's 6'8", he's lanky, he's mobile, and then his shooting mechanics. I'm like, okay, it seems a little slow, but it looks good though. It looks consistent. Right. So like, I was comfortable with the shooting. I didn't know how effective it was going to be year one. But like as an NBA player, I felt like he was going to be a good shooter, though. The
biggest thing for me was going to be who he was going to be matched up against. He plays a very, physical role, and that really does weigh in on shooters throughout games. It's kind of, can you keep that same shooting form after you just finished guarding a LeBron, after you finished guarding a Jason Tatum? You know what I mean? Can you actually go to the other end and still hit that shot? It's a lot more difficult than people think.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair too. Yeah. Like early in the game, my shot, I'm saying, I got the form right. Hey, around the end, I'm
right.
That elbow stuck out a little bit. My bad, coach. Right. Don't take me out the game. I'm good. I'm good. I got to say, this could be a Braun and Kawhi like situation though. So it'll be interesting. I want to give a shout out. I know you said Benedict Mathurin. He's on your team. That's your guy. I want to give a shout out to my guy Shaden Sharp. Let's go, baby. Talk to me, Shaden. He is balling. What?
He looks really good out there in Portland. Jeremy Grant is disappointing me a little bit. I feel like he's playing very passive.
I mean, but he got one. It's not his team. It's his first.
I know.
Early, he's trying to get.
And I mentioned him being that wing component when we talked about, guys who are going to be inserted into new teams and stuff. But I feel like he is. I guess my thing is, I don't even really see him impacting the floor defensively that much either. I feel like he's kind of just, you know what I mean? Like, not that he's going through the motions, but like you said, Shaden Sharp looks amazing. The man's jumping out of the gym.
I mean, but that's his game, though.
Yeah.
Like, Shaden is a huge athlete, so he's able to impact the game like that. But Jeremy Grant, Jeremy straight. Jeremy give him like 18. I hear you. He can give me more rebounds, maybe more blocks. But Anthony kind of doing what he do. Simon. Lillard is
also with 10 games in. I did not think Lillard was going to be averaging 40 in his first couple games either. So that's
not 40, but I mean, like you said, Dame hasn't played for quite some time, so
right.
he was real rested. So he wanted to come out and make a big statement. So averaging 30, I can see 25 to 30. All right, cool. Like, that's not bad. So I mean, he's doing what I expected. It just seemed like he was really dominant with what he was doing, and he seems like kind of rusty too in what he was doing. Like he's still only giving me like 4.6 assists. Like that. And it's
I mean, that's what happens when you don't play with a group of guys for a while, right? You only can get those reps in training camp. You don't play summer league. You know what I mean? It's the preseason games, your minutes again are still limited to an extent. They don't want you to get hurt out there, and it's just preseason. So you really don't get that chance to kind of get in the flow. So I definitely see Dame ramping up that assist number, but I also kind of see him being, again, just because I don't know. I guess I expected more offensively from Jeremy. So if Dame is gonna have less assists because he's scoring more, I mean, I feel like it's an even handoff.
Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got some quick takes for y'all. So we're just gonna run down a couple of quick combos, and then we're gonna close it off on.
And I'll say this too before we go. Where do you think Chet is gonna play? He's not playing this year, right? No. So where do you see him in next year's Rookie of the Year conversation? Because he'll still be playing for a Thunder team that kind of still is looking for an identity. I mean, I don't know if Shai would still be on the team. I'd keep him. I mean, he's averaging like 25.
It would be between Chet, Victor, and Scoot right now for me.
Right.
Just because Chet is in the NBA like atmosphere, so he gets that advantage, kind of how Ben Simmons did.
Right.
And then with Scoot, like Donovan Mitchell, like was able to attack the basket. I'm expecting that type of gravity that Scoot will be able to bring. Plus, he's also a playmaker and more of a defender. He's more like willing to defend. So I'm expecting that to factor in. And then you just got Victor, who just got the size and whatnot. And then people already loving this game. So it's going to be a 3-man race. I think maybe you have Chet versus Victor, because that's what they're trying to hype up. Oh,
as long as they don't end up on the same team.
I mean, even still,
right.
Like, they probably be 1 and 2. Maybe somebody drops and that allows Scoot to scoot up. But it's that 3-man race for me personally. How about you?
Gotcha. I definitely say I think it's always interesting when guys kind of are injured their first year, so they're still technically in that Rookie of the Year race the next year. And like you said, I mean, Victor has the advantage though. Although he's not in an NBA atmosphere, he's in the tougher league. And so in the things that he's doing over there, I mean, the fact that the fact that they're streaming all of his games on NBA.com for the world to see already is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Man, it's about to be special.
Yeah, I would probably have to give Vic the nod. I mean, I really do think it's his to lose because of how much of a unicorn he is. Like, I think physically, he's more physically imposing than Chet.
Yeah.
His body could probably keep up. I mean, no offense to Chet, but everybody made jokes about Bron, Embiid, Giannis bumping into Chet and breaking them, and Bron bumped into Chet and broke him. So I mean, it happened like everybody said it was gonna happen. Now, everybody was definitely trolling when they were saying it, but it's kind of like it's real life. As you're going from playing with college kids to playing with grown men, it's different.
But see, he gets to strengthen up his body for an entire season. Like that's
for sure.
That's something he never really got to do, and I think that's actually going to be beneficial for him going forward.
I agree.
Because
I think he can have as long as he isn't injured as much, I think he can have a Joel Embiid. I know you gave the Ben Simmons but I think Joel Embiid is probably a better one with him being a big and him still missing that year. Because I mean, when Joe came over, he wasn't. I mean, I would argue he was not as skilled as Chet is. You know what I mean? But he kind of was able to get his body right first, and then kind of really develop those miscellaneous skills that kind of set you apart. Yeah. But it'll be interesting kind of how the next couple of years go for the league, especially we're getting positionless, but the more unicorns that pop up, it's kind of like you're gonna have to have Clint Capella's, Hassan Whitesides, you know what I mean, Steven Adams. You're gonna have to have
a lot of people, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna have to have those bruiser type of bigs to stand in front of these unicorns. I mean,
Well, I don't even think you need bruisers. You need just length like length in general. Again, like a Bowl,
Yep.
Mo Bamba, like the big, like I go telling you, the market for bigs is about to be like the market for wings now.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like honestly, if I'm a team, I'm not really stockpiling on wings as much.
Right.
They cool to have. Don't get me wrong. If you have some good ones, cool.
Right.
But bigs is really what's going to separate you in the long run. Because once Victor turns like what 3-4 like years into the league, it's
Yeah.
about
Oh,
a problem. Because that's
yeah.
what look at what Braun did. Look
Yeah.
at what KD did. Like
Well,
all,
I mean, what Joel Embiid will be 30 by then?
oh yeah, all the stars now will start aging up. But like Jason Tatum will be on the back end of his prime when Victor
Prime is
Wembanyama.
prime is moving.
I hear you, but when we were told prime is like 26 to 30, so
Yeah.
like Jason Tatum's what 26 now, like he's gonna be
24, 25.
Okay, my fault, 24, 25, so he's gonna be 28, 29,
Yeah.
3-4 seasons from now.
Yeah.
I think there's 3-4 seasons in, like
Yeah.
so he's gonna be 21, 22.
Yeah. The league was gonna be in good hands.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. And going forward too, because we're gonna transition on now to the quick takes, right? Transition on to the NBA take rule. Now, what this is we get to see more dunks, ladies and gentlemen, more fast breaks. Does this make the game better? Because sometimes teams slow you down so that way you can't really score like that. And it's better for the slower teams, those old vets who just don't feel like running. Like, is this making the game better for you now?
Yeah, I think in crunch time, take fouls are important, personally. If I have the ability to stop a guy and not let him get a wide open layup or dunk when it's a 2-minute game, you know what I mean? I feel like those situations are probably what those fouls are really made for. You don't want to give up easy buckets, right? That's the idea. But I think over the last like 2 or 3 years, it had become like what you said, except they were young guys taking those fouls. You know what I mean? It won't vets just who didn't want to get up the court. It was young guys who were like, oh, I just turned the ball over. Let me smack this dude because I just made a mistake and I don't want to give up a point. You know what I mean? So then that's.
I don't want to give up a point though. Like you're now saying this particular foul, like which again, all fouls are trying to prevent you from scoring. Like every time I've ever fouled somebody, it was I'm trying to prevent someone from scoring. Right. So like, is it fair? Because again, it's a tactic. It's like it's the same thing with fouling Shaq to me, so that way he can't get an easy bucket and send him to the free throw line. It's another tactic. Like it's very similar.
No, I understand, but it's at the end of the day, basketball at that level is more so about the entertainment aspect, and because of how polarizing the 3-ball is, I feel like we weren't seeing guys dunk on those fast breaks as often unless a guy was able to pitch the ball up quick and then get a guy do something. But in terms of coast to coast action, that had died off a little bit. I feel like this is just a way to kind of bring it back. And I feel like too, guys are still kind of doing it. And it's weird now because referees are kind of taking it upon their discretion if they're going to call it a take foul or if they're going to just call it like, oh, he just reached. And there were enough people down the court that it wasn't really a take foul. You know what I mean? He wasn't really stopped.
They gave a take foul. I forget. I want to say it was like a Warriors game, but they gave a take foul where people were still down the court. So I'm like,
yeah, it's tough.
So now we're doing it like this. That's tough. Like that's because like if it was a clear path, all right, nobody's down the court. I get you.
Right.
We're down the court now, like that. And what? All right, I hear that. But I understand why people do it. Again, it adds to the entertainment value.
Listen, and I know the take one was supposed to be a quick one, but we kind of got to talk about just real quick the carry and travel thing that the referees are trying to clamp down on now. Steve Kerr said before the game the other day when Jordan Poole got called for 3 travels in one game or 3 carries in one game, he said he got an email before the game that said that the NBA was going to be kind of keeping their eyes on it. He was like, but I don't check my email on game days. I ain't got no reason to. Everybody I need to talk to is in front of me. They're going to see me that day. You know what I mean? They're not sending me an email. They're going to see me that day. And he was like, but everybody in the league does it. Ja Morant, quoted the video on Twitter and said everybody does it. I mean, people have YouTube reels of Ja Morant carrying the ball. Like, it's an entire playlist.
But you got to clean up the game
the way that he does it.
You got to clean up the game, though. These are supposed to be professionals. And when we've seen, like, again, LeBron James picking up the ball and walking from half court, like, yo, wait, what? Like, nothing was called. That shows the younger generation, what's a rule? Like, you gotta clean up the rules. You gotta make a standard in place. So that's why when I bring up, like, the take foul, like, is it fair? Is it right? Is it better? Is it bettering the NBA? I get why it is, but then at the same time too, it's like, it's not fair. But I get you though.
You know, it'll never be we're never gonna make really more rules to benefit the defender. That's
I hate that. I hate that so much, bro. Like, there needs to be rules in place to help out the defender to make the game better.
Yeah, but the defenders ain't. I mean, it's different for basketball, but you know, you look at football. The defenders aren't the guys who are like making the big bucks, and also they aren't the guys that people are really coming there to see. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no rules for Aaron Donald. ain't no rules.
People come to see Aaron Donald, though. Aaron Donald was literally a big reason why they won the Super Bowl. So I mean,
no, for sure. But he's not the one scoring the points, and that's kind of where it comes down to.
Yeah, although he can be, but we always focus on scoring. Unfortunately, right. Speaking of scoring, though, Reese. Speaking of scoring, are the Pelicans going to be able to score enough points to win the championship, or is scoring really what you're worried about, and it's really the defensive factor? Like, what you more worried about for these Pelicans? Because they got a lot of weapons out there.
I would have to say I'm more and I'll say this too, right? 10 games. I think Brandon Ingram missed 4 games with the concussion protocol. Mm-hmm. So their record wasn't great in those 4 games. He was back. I mean, they played the Hawks last night. Nasty overtime loss. DeJounte Murray steals the ball on the first Pelicans possession just because they were playing lazy. And there's no other way to put it. It was a lazy pass. DeJounte Murray's a very active guard. I love the way he plays. He took it right out of CJ hands, dunked it, and then from there they basically lost all momentum of the game. And so what I think that the Pelicans are going to need is, for one, everybody to stay on the court. I mean, it's hard to get into a rhythm. I mean, concussion, that's nothing you can't really take control of, nor are any injuries really. But those are, I mean, the best ability is availability at the end of the day. You cannot build chemistry with guys who are not on the court. And so I just think what they need is the next 10 games. They're 5-4 right now. I need them to kind of go 3-7. I mean, 7-3 over these next 10 games. And their schedule isn't, it's possible. It's very much so possible.
So I'm looking at the Pels. Offensively, they're at the top of the West. Like, it's them. The Grizzlies are right in front of them by a couple of points. The Jazz, that sounds so wild to say, but cool, we're here now. The Suns, the Mavericks, like these Pelicans are good offensively. Yeah, like you said, BI has been out for a couple of games, and they're still at the top. Defensively, they're mediocre. They're like at the middle, but the point differential is 5, which is relatively well on the team, like in the West. Like, this team has a lot. I think it's just going to come down to health, like it's always been.
It's weird though, right? Because CJ and Valanciunas, I don't know if defensively, you know what I mean, for your lead guard and your center, they aren't known for defense at all. Like, Jonas is known for like closing possessions with defensive rebounding, which is an aspect of defense. But I would definitely say that the way that the team is kind of moving right now, like I don't know. I just feel like it's an effort thing. Like that's a coaching thing, in my opinion.
Well, it's always
a way to get the best out of those guys.
Effort always matters. Because I've seen games where they played with a lot of effort, and I've seen games where they played too kind of like a little lazy. But that's everybody, in my opinion. So I don't like it's tough because like Lil Jose, you know what I'm saying? Like he always gives maximum effort.
Right.
Zion most of the time gives effort when he's playing. CJ sometimes has been looking a little lazy. I don't know what's going up with that.
Yeah, I think he's really looking at those young guys to kind of like give him the energy to want to like.
I don't like that though. If that's the case, like I need CJ. CJ should be one of the leaders. He should be setting the tone.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at CJ to start showing a little bit more leadership. I'm not saying he's a trash leader. I'm saying a little bit more, kind of revving up that team because this is a young team. That you bring up Valanciunas isn't a good defender. I think he's fine. But you also have a Jackson Hayes who can help out. Zion can help
I'm
out.
gonna say
they have
Valanciunas is more so his mobility. You know what I mean? He's not as mobile as a Clint Capella. You know what I mean? He's not. You know what I mean? So that's when I say like that's. And again, that's not. I mean, he can't help how his body is. You know what I mean? How his body is. I mean, he don't have a quick first step.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I say in terms of coaching, because you always want to make sure a guy like him is in the right position to make a defensive play. That way he doesn't have to go out of position to do it. I mean, he's not a help side guy. Like you know what I mean? Giannis won a defensive player of the year off of being a help side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not valid chance.
Yeah. I do get though when you say effort, that could be the main reason because again they do have the defense, they have the defenders. So when I think defense is their issue, that usually is effort. Again, it could just be early and the team hasn't been able to gel because they haven't been playing together as long and people have been out. So that could be a thing too. It's something to watch, whether it's effort or whether it's just pure chemistry. But that we'll find out more as the season progresses.
Sure.
Another team though that looks like they could be having a little chemistry issues. Maybe not defensively, at least at the beginning. They were in the top 5, Reese. I don't know if you know that or not. But my Lakers weren't bad defensively, apparently. We were just 0 what, 5? They say offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. I don't know how we were getting there. 0-5, that's crazy. We 2-6 now though. But do you still feel like we have drama? Because again, we moved Russell Westbrook to the bench, which I'm glad.
Phenomenal.
The organization to my video last year because I said that. Finally, we're doing that.
My 6th man of the year pick.
I didn't know they were going to listen, so I'm happy that they listened.
But drama, we
win. We 2-1 right now. We 2-1 right now.
And that's why the drama, right, that was there was the fact that the team couldn't shoot, still can't. Okay? Team couldn't shoot, still can't. What is Russell Westbrook's role? Okay, his role has been shifted. And so now there's one thing that kind of still stands, and it has nothing to do with drama. Y'all can't shoot in a league where shooting is the trademark now. You got to be able to hit threes. And y'all, I mean, they said Bron is on track to shoot his worst from the three in his career right now. I mean, I think he's hovering around like 25 to 30%.
No. It's 21%. Because that's always like 1.5.
Yeah,
makes, and he's shooting 7 of them.
And that's what I'm saying.
5.
And that's what I'm saying. But again, though, right? Anthony Davis was out a couple of games, maybe only 2. And so it's like, y'all, again, it's another situation where I feel like you have to have AD. Russ is gonna always show up to work. Bron has not looked like himself recently. Everybody's been talking about it. I don't know if it's the you know what I mean, year 20 kind of catching up to him thing. It is flu season. I want everybody to keep that out there, all right? So you know what I mean? Those viruses are in the air. He could just be out there fighting his demons, okay? We all got them. We all got them. We didn't all had to, you know what I mean, get through that little bug. So I still think that Bron can turn it around, but you still need to somehow address the shooting. Russ can come off the bench and go 1 for 1 from the 3-point line for the rest of the season, and it will not change the fact that y'all are shooting 43s a game and making 10. It's not going.
So you got to start somewhere though, and like we know that Bron needs shooters, right? And like you're not gonna make all your shots. So again, It is early. We got about 72 games left. they're not going to be this abysmal all the time. So you got to think at some point in time, confidence comes in. Players start shooting the ball. You do get a mismatch still with Braun and AD. So someone going to be open at some point in time. All you got to do is knock down an open shot. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know if you know this or not. We're talking about professional basketball players. You would like to assume that they can hit an open jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Open three ball. I'm not saying all of them. You don't have to be Steph Curry. Even Steph Curry don't hit all of them. Just hit enough, like a 37%.
So has the same person started in Russ's place?
We're rolling with Troy Brown, which is cool because he rebounds pretty decently. Like he's
shooting is he shooting?
I mean, he made in this game he was 4 of 7 from the field.
From the three or from the field?
From the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and then 6 of 6 from free throws. So I mean, I can't be mad at that. And I think he's giving me about 7 to 9 points. Yeah, 9.5 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and it's on 42% shooting from the field, 30% from the 3, but 100% from free throw though. So
I get it, but it's like eventually, I mean, like I don't know.
We will max out. We will max out.
Really good defense.
You said what?
Y'all have a good defense. And I think eventually you have to reward defenders somehow. Seeing a 3 or and 1, you know what I mean? Like leads extending. Who wants to play defense for 48 minutes and the game is within 2 possessions the entire time? Like that's, you know what I mean? It's irritating too, especially if you feel like you go on a nice little run and then the other team just comes down and hit 2 threes, and now you back fighting for your life again because you can't hit that 3 to separate.
But see, here's my thing though: our starting 5 should be able, and this one I'm thinking defensively, we should be able to stick with most starting 5s, if not all. For me. So now, when we're bringing a Russell Westbrook off the bench, and we're not going to stay on this topic long, people, because we got other people we want to talk about. Some very surprising folks. But Russell Westbrook coming off the bench should help keep us afloat, if not extend the game in our favor. That's
Who's the best defensive team y'all played?
Who's the best defensive team we've played?
Yeah, like who? Or just run me the teams that y'all played. I don't know.
We played the Warriors.
They've been poopy defensively this year. They let people drop 120, 130 on them.
Clippers. Portland, Nuggets twice, Minnesota, Pelicans, Utah.
See, I need y'all. I want to see y'all play another defense, like another top 5, top 3 defensive team, and I want to see kind of what that looks like, even with Russ coming off the bench. Because I mean,
in 20 minutes you can. in 20
y'all playing the Cavs. Y'all are playing the Cavaliers, right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Especially with the 2 big lineup that they run and with the small guards they have up front, I want to see how y'all keep up with them. And even with, I mean, the Cavs have Karis LeVert, Seti, coming off the bench, right? I mean, Russ and Braun are still high turnover guys. You know what I mean? They have their days. You know what I mean? And also, when you think about the turnover all-time list, them 2 are up there.
They up there.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, with a good defensive team, and I'll be honest with you,
how will we look?
The Cavaliers, like Darius Garland, first game back against Celtics the other day, he went 4 for 4 to start the game.
I mean, he's not playing
against good defense, and I mean, them guys will shoot. I mean, he shot like 2 of them almost from the logo. It felt like off the dribble, and it's like you play the best defense you can, and your arms just go up like this. But you got to get back. You know what I mean? You got to get back on offense. This is gonna be a good game. I think this will be a great test, and I cannot wait to tune in. I'm glad you said something. That's gonna be
Now we'll definitely peep it. We'll definitely peep it. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, this team is very, very surprising. I gotta say, I didn't put no money on them personally, but
what is going on?
They've been jazzing up the league so far.
Something's going on in Utah.
Something's going on in Utah because they got the All-Star game coming up soon. I thought they were going to get Victor Wembanyama, but they might not now. They're 7-3. Let me repeat that, folks. They're 7-3.
Listen, everybody. I told Trey 3 games into the season I said the Jazz need to trade Lowry today if they want to go get Victor. He told me, he said, tell me some teams that's gonna be worse than the Jazz. I gave him 5 teams easy. It wasn't that hard. They at the bottom right now. We speaking about them. They at the bottom right now. Is this surprising ones down there at the bottom? Absolutely. But I told them, I said Utah, they got a Celtic coach over there. They got a Celtic GM over there. Danny Ainge knows how to win games and acquire draft assets and do it all at the same time to make it feel like you never were actually rebuilding. You were just constantly retooling. And I feel like he blew up that team, and somehow they're starting as well as they would have if they were completely whole. I'm just saying, Danny Ainge, baby. Danny Ainge.
I think they're overachieving, but it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad the score didn't come up. I just checked the Panthers. Last time I saw, we were down 35-0. I'm not even looking at the scores on ESPN at this point. I just wanted to be a surprise. But the Jazz, do you see them going to the playoffs? Again, it's 10 games in, so it's early.
Play-in is playoffs. I have a question. Are we considering the play-in? Like, could they be?
Well, right now, if the playoffs were to start, they'd be a 2 seed. So I'm going to say playoffs because they playing too damn well for me to say play-in. Now, they very well could reach play-in and fall off heavily, which is what you might assume. But I want to focus on playoffs because, again, they're the 2 seed right now, Reese. 2 seed right now.
Let me hear me out, right? So if we're talking their next 5 games, they play the Clippers, Hawks, 76ers, Jazz, Suns, Clippers, and the Warriors. Then they play the Bulls, Pacers, Warriors again, Nuggets, and the Pelicans. And
I just like to remind folks, Warriors are the second from the bottom.
And so all I'm saying is, if they keep winning their next 10 games, everybody heard the teams I rattled off. They could easily be 3-7 in 10 games, or they could be 7-3 again in 10 games. Because those guys, when you really think about it, they have a literal bull in Colin Sexton. Lauri Markkanen is playing out of body right now, okay?
He's not playing that much better than when he did his second season on the Bulls, bro. Like, people are acting like he's just playing that much better. Like,
it's not his numbers, Trey. That's what I'm saying. You're focusing too much on his numbers. I'm talking about if you watch the Jazz games, it's the way he's carrying himself. I feel like he's trying to solidify himself not only as a leader, but he wants to kind of like stay in Utah, focus on his game, and really take a step. You know what I mean? And he doesn't really care who comes in. Like, you could probably draft somebody at that man's position next year, and he wouldn't lose any sleep over it. Like, I feel like at this point in his career, because guys really do reach that point where it's like, man, I just want to hoop. Like, put me out there, coach. I'm gonna hoop. I ain't got nothing to lose. I have no expectations, and that is the scariest thing. The scariest. They say, you know what I mean. Whenever you play somebody in chess, it's their first time you got a chance to lose because they don't know what they're doing. they don't have no expectations. They don't have no expectations. They're out there just moving, and I just feel like that's what he's doing now. Everybody on that team, honestly, I feel like everybody's just out there. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk, Lowry. You got guys out there who could really. They're a trade away from probably not being on the team again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we just out here to hoop.
That's tough.
Mike Conley, if Mike Conley were to get moved on his big contract and play another season, where would he go after that?
He Jordan Clarkson plays as hell. He could come to the Lakers. Like, a lot of teams would love to take Mike Conley.
But you know why? They're not going to take him. They're not going to take him, though, because Danny going to hold on to him. Because Danny know how to acquire assets.
If he brings him back for a smaller deal, then I'd be surprised. Because if I'm Mike Conley, I'm thinking I can win a championship somewhere else. It's not going to be in Utah. It's not going to be. But like you said, though, that over the next 10 games, we got a whole bunch of good teams that they got to play. So we don't see if they come out ahead, like if they're like 6-4 or greater over the next 10 games. We might have to consider putting Utah as contenders. Like we might have to.
I mean,
that's a.
I'm trying to think of a comp of a team that they would be with their current makeup. That, I mean, you know what? Honestly, and this is
anything.
This isn't even a legit comparison, right? But like that Charlotte Hornets team that Bron kind of used to just spank on every time he saw them in the playoffs, and why Kemba would never get a win against them. Like I just feel like they could get to the playoffs and like get swept.
That Hornets team rode Kemba like where Kemba went is where they went, and this team has Laurie, it has JC. Like both of those players have been balling.
I mean, the only other team would be like the Hawks, but they're not. Everybody ain't about to be an all-star.
But that's why I was actually trying to say the Hawks, but you're not gonna have that situation because again, you can make the argument that all of them did not deserve to be all-stars. Like only two of them could have been all-stars. So it's like that could be this situation here too. Like if the Jazz are a really high-rated team this season, ranking team. You can throw two people from this squad to the All-Star team. How much they play?
Lowry and
Clarkson, because they're right now. Those are their two best players. They're the most productive players. They're the most impactful players. So I mean, like Conley, cool, but I wouldn't put him in as an All-Star.
Right. Did he make the All-Star team last year?
Because
yeah.
It was wild. So, but again, that's like a Kyle Korver situation. Like Korver, nice, all-star worthy though. Like, all right, he got a case, but like there's other people you could put in there. So I think of them as that Hawks team. So they could finish the season pretty high. But again, like you said, the next 10 games, we'll find out a lot about this Hawks team. Maybe not this Hawks team, this Jazz team. Maybe. After these 10 games, though, maybe after these 10 games, right? And follow
they make a trade.
You said what?
They make a trade?
No, I was saying maybe after the next 10 games, Miles Bridges comes back for the Hornets. Maybe I don't know. Like, what's your take? What's your take on the Hornets this season? Because again, LaMelo's been in and out.
LaMelo ain't played. Ain't no in and out. He been out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, started off as looked like he was going to be in, so in and out.
He ain't played a game. He is out.
I can't give my man no love, no credit. That's okay. That's cool. So he's been out.
Gordon Hayward has been in and out. That's in and out. Hayward has been in and out. LaMelo ain't played.
LaMelo, I tried, but apparently
LaMelo ain't played. Not him and Bridges are out. All right. And so I'll be honest with you though, it's funny, right? We're talking about the same Hornets team that I don't think won a overtime game last year. Healthy.
Okay, I was about to say I did that.
No. I'm saying they were healthy. I don't think they won an overtime game. They had the worst record in the league in overtime.
I'd have to look into that. I don't know.
No.
That's great.
I am very sure that they I know for a fact that they had the worst overtime record. I know for a fact that they did, and because my FanDuel account suffered from it, so I know for a fact that they did. Okay, because it was always, oh, they're gonna get them this time. Oh, they can beat this team in overtime, and they didn't. They never did. And so, yeah. And so now we're talking about a team who don't have their best player. Gordon Hayward not in the lineup. Miles Bridges should not be allowed back in the league, in my personal opinion, because you can't put your hands on women and you can't put your hands on women in front of your kids. You ain't room for it, in my opinion. But I ain't the GM, nor am I the owner, nor am I the, you know what I mean?
You don't write the checks.
Yeah. So whatever happens. But it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting because why can't the Hornets go for Wemby?
I was gonna say maybe the Hornets can actually just continue to play, but suck so badly that they end up getting a top 3 pick. And now, if you tell me you get Scoot Henderson or Victor Wembanyama, I think that would be a good pairing. You get someone who pushes LaMelo or someone who complements LaMelo. So either way, I think them getting a low draft pick this season should be the top priority. Also,
they're gonna have to do a little turnaround though, because
it shouldn't be too hard of a turnaround though, because again, LaMelo Ball, all-star. If you get a low pick like Victor Wembanyama or Scoot, you're anticipating you have at minimum a solid starter.
Oh no, I meant the turnaround in terms of continuing to lose. Because they're 3-7 right now, but you got the Magic, the Pistons, and the Rockets, who are all.
Let's not act like the Magic are bad again. Going back to our Rookie of the Year conversation, I understand what you're saying. The Magic and Pistons are both below them, but still, like I gotta assume they're gonna be able to win these type of games. Like the Pistons are nothing to scoff at, nor are the Magic. Who's the other team you said?
The Rockets. They are 1-8. They are.
Yeah, the Rockets are low also.
Okay, so how do you feel about? I know we didn't really talk about them in the ROI, but we kind of can now. Jabari and Jaden Ivey.
Jaden, cool. I like Jaden, although I don't think he's gonna win it solely because the Pistons.
Well, no, not in terms of their chances of being Rookie of the Year, but how do you think they're playing?
I like Jaden Ivey's production so far. Okay. I think he'll last pretty well in the NBA. I like how he's able to adjust to the NBA. Jabari, I don't ever say I'm giving up on players, right? Especially early. And he's still one of the younger draft picks this year too. He's kind of iffy, so I can see that he needs to work on his body. So I think next year is more so what I'm looking to see, the development, because over the season, I don't know how big of a jump he'll really make. Maybe.
But do you think the Rockets probably should have went with Murray over Jabari?
Oh, I think Murray, maybe you go Murray. I also contemplated Shaedon Sharpe at one point. Not gonna lie to you. As Shaedon could have gone number like 2 or 3 for me. Like it could.
Yeah, the Jaylen Brown comp that you gave, JB went number 3, and I would say Shaedon is more of an athlete than Jaylen Brown was coming out of school. So if we're talking raw prospect talent, and that's kind of what you want to go for, and a guy who's still gonna work hard, yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So and then again, he doesn't seem scared when he's going against that competition. I'm not saying Jabari is, but he seems less timid than Jabari. So for me, Jabari it's okay. But I'm hoping he has a better sophomore season just to show, he got that progression, because it's the physicality. It's some people are skilled to play, but you need that physical aspect. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping it is. If it's not, then the Rockets might have messed up on the pick. So they might have messed up. It sounds like though we got to do a first 10-game recap though, Reese. Kind of like we got to do a first 10-game recap. Who's been your most disappointing team thus far?
I would definitely have to say the Warriors are my most disappointing team. Being that I'm a Celtics fan and we lost to those guys, it's just like, the other night, Steve Kerr decided to rest the whole starter unit. And I'm like, for one thing, Andrew Wiggins is like 27. What is this guy's resting 6 games into the season for? I understand Steph and Clay and Draymond, but him and Looney, why are we resting? What is that? That doesn't even make any sense to me personally. It makes actually no sense to me personally. Kind of like where the Warriors, just like the Celtics were last year, and neither one of those teams are there this year. They were the 1 and 2 defensive, and neither of those teams are there. That's for my team for the West. For the East, I would definitely have to go with, I want to say the Hawks, because I'm always going to compare the Hawks to the Cavaliers all year. Although the Cavs have probably what you would say a more skilled big, but a younger big in Evan Mobley, I feel like the two teams are kind of like synonymous, really. They're a 2-guard lineup with a pretty decent 2-big lineup. The only difference is the Cavaliers don't really have a staple forward like the Hawks have. The Hawks have a couple, and they're not even using them all. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I want to see the Hawks kind of win those games and kind of really like show me. But like I said, DeJounte Murray is a winner, and I love watching him play. But the Cavaliers, those again, I'm gonna compare the Hawks to the Cavaliers all season because those two teams in the East seem like they are the most matched in terms of what their starting five looks like.
So like, if we're going disappointing teams, East and West, I gotta go Lakers, right? I hear you on the Warriors. I'm a Laker fan. 2-6. I'm not really that proud of that personally, especially when I've said we have a contending team. Again, understanding what our team looks like. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Those are two top 5 caliber players. Yep. That should be able to bring you home a championship. But that's
or at least more than 2 wins. I mean, you're owed that.
At least. But for the East, I'm very shocked you said the Hawks because them boys is like I almost got out of character and I felt like we was on just regular I was like my what? Bro, like they fourth dog, like they like 6-3 or something. That's only like a game or 2 away from the Cavs. I'm not disappointed in the Hawks at all. I'm actually pleasantly surprised because again, there were reservations about DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, and I think they've been playing pretty well. I thought it could work out. The only thing I had hesitation on is if DeJounte Murray was going to be a skilled enough scorer to fit in well and kind of allow Trae Young and the floor to open up. Because if not, it might get a little tricky. But
right,
he's an all-star, so he should have been able to do that. And he's been able to do that. So my disappointing team, I want to say the 76ers, but I can't just yet because the Heat are still a little lower than them. Like, the Heat have been disappointing to me. They should be in the top. They can turn it around, not worried about them as much. It's just I'm still disappointed. That's all. Like, they could do a little bit more than what they have been. I understand Jimmy didn't play a game or 2 maybe. Tyler Hero, and I gotta let me do this. Let me soapbox it. Tyler Hero, you just got a bag, champ. Like,
big bag.
I need to see dominance at this point in time. Bam, bam. Like, I'm gonna show you. There's a show called The Flintstones, right? There was this character that goes by the name Bam Bam. He was very forceful in every episode he played, and the little man was maybe all of a year or 2 years old. I need you to learn from him and start gaining a lot more force. Just be more aggressive with it. Again, you've been playing okay. I've seen some improvements. I would like to see a little bit more aggression out of you, a little bit more dominance. I want to see more aggression out of those two. I think that amplifies Jimmy's game so much. Kyle Lowry has shown he can still win a game. Like, they just had a whole highlight reel for Kyle Lowry on ESPN. I was like, damn, is this a throwback? No, that was yesterday's game. Like, that's crazy. So, again, y'all have the pieces. I just want to be able to see those two players, the people who they are essentially having the future of their team invested in, dominate a little bit more. Like, I'm pretty confident Jimmy Butler rises to the occasion when need be. And if he has some dogs on his team, he's going to rise his play up. And Jimmy's been kind of lackluster to me this year. So,
okay,
those two need to bring him up.
And so, again, maybe I might have been a little unfair to the Hawks. Because, again, like I said, I was comparing them to the Cavaliers. But hold on. But let me tell you again, I'm doubling down. The Cavaliers are 7-1. Like you said, the Hawks are 6-3 or 6-4, right? They lost to the Hornets with nobody, right? And it was not a good game. It was a bad game. They got beat 126-109. Okay, they got beat by the Pelicans, who they turned around, I guess, and kind of made up for it. They got beat by Milwaukee without Chris Middleton. And I feel like the Jazz. I feel like the Hawks should have been one of the teams to beat them because, again, no Chris Middleton. You listen. You played against this team in the playoffs. It's not. It ain't doing nothing differently. So maybe I'm more upset with the coach. Maybe I'm more upset with Nate McMillan because the Bucks ain't come with nothing differently. They only got 2 options.
Hey, you know what's funny? I just realized the Bucks lost all their games preseason, and then they've won all the games in the season. That's funny. But that's a tough team, though. Like, to say that they lost to the Bucks, I can't hold that against them.
I get it. To be fair, then I will say the Brooklyn Nets because they started the season terribly, despite what has happened over the last 72 to 96 hours.
That's crazy.
What was their record to start the season, though, Trey?
But we're talking about point in time. Like right now, they're like 4-6 or something like that. If the season ended right now, they'd be in the play-in or playoffs.
But they still below 500. What are we talking about?
Okay, but you got to admit though, how they started off, Ben Simmons coming back, being rusty, that does factor into.
They went on a 4-game losing streak.
It happens. If you tell me right now they had a 4-game losing streak the entire season and that's it, the rest of it was 2-game losing streak, maybe a 3-game losing streak here.
Them losses add up, my brother. I mean, how many losing streaks do you want to go on?
You act like they're not going to win. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now. I'm just saying, this is a KD-led team. And it's going to
be at present time. But guess what, though? They've won the games without everybody else. So can I not be disappointed at what they look like at full strength if they lost?
I'll give you that, but I'm just saying I don't want to throw disappointment out there when I feel like Ben Simmons was going to look a little rusty again. The man ain't playing.
You know what they need to do? They need to put Ben on the bench and let him be the 6th man. I mean, the man ain't played basketball in 500 days and he don't want to take a layup. Put him on the bench.
You can cuss. That's fine. Ass ain't that bad.
Put him on the bench.
Bengals up 42-7.
Yeah. But yeah, put Ben on the bench.
So I did think about that because of what we had to do with Russell Westbrook. While Ben's trying to get his bearings back, he play against the second unit. I'm not mad at that because Claxton's defense is very helpful.
Also, he ain't scared to dunk the ball. What are we talking about?
He's a nice ball player. He's a nice energy player.
Listen, I saw them. I watched the Nets game the other day, and they fed the ball down there to Nicholas, and I feel like there was 2 people who were expecting the ball to come back out. That man went down there, power dribble, drop step, threw up a hook shot and bricked it and ran back on defense, acting like it never happened. That's the type of confidence that Ben Simmons needs to be playing with.
I mean, he's at least tried in moments, right? I saw him drive against Giannis. Again, that's Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Now, he wasn't successful, but again, the word was he tried. He tried to bump him. He was like, damn, he didn't go nowhere? That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, get him with this one, though, and I'm going to go up. He got that one too, huh? Okay. Well, we'll try again next time. I don't know if he tried again next time, but he at least tried once. So I'm assuming he's going to get better over time. And I think he's worried about that back still. I think that's still in his head.
I mean, I think it's mental. And then kind of talk about the West a little bit. The Suns and the Mavericks have been playing well. Kind of not a surprise, really. You know what I mean? But I was kind of surprised about the Suns just because of kind of that whole offseason drama that they had. The fact that Jay Crowder ain't playing. Is
that your most surprising team then? The Suns over the Mavs? It sounds like it because you started talking about the Suns. I'm just saying.
I am surprised. And it may be because I'm not the biggest Devin Booker fan. I saw something go out during the summer that he was the number 1 rated shooting guard in the league. I think that is
I don't know. His offense is better than Jaylen Brown's. I'm saying it right now.
Right, but when
I hear you on the defense again.
When we think about the 2 best shooting guards, they have been 2-way players. Could they score a bucket? Undoubtedly, the best, right? But on defense, they were not what Devin Booker is at any point in their career. And so I just feel like if the shooting guard position if we're talking about who the number 1 scoring guard is in the league, all right, cool. Give it to D-Book. I could care less. But we're talking about what I believe the shooting guard role is and how it's supposed to be a 2-way dominant aspect of the game. Jaylen Brown, Paul George.
All I'm saying is everybody should be a 2-way player, right? But sometimes certain players' offense allows them to dip on the defensive end. Steph Curry, for example, his offense allowed him to dip on the defensive end. He didn't have the physical tools that other people did. Jaylen Brown is 6'6", more athletic than D-Book. D-Book is 6'4". Like,
that Book is 6'4". He's like 6'5".
One extra inch, if so. Like that. Like I don't.
Well, there's a big difference between 6'6" and 6'4". Anthony Edwards is 6'4".
Pretty confident he's 6'4".
He's 6'4".
But I'm looking it up right now. All right, they got somewhere he's listed as 6'4". I promise you. Hold on.
I believe that. Maybe without the shoes on, but they play with shoes on, so I don't care. So I don't care. But yeah, Yeah, like I said, the Aiden drama, the Chris Paul adding another year to his legs, Jay Crowder not playing, kind of doing his own like hold off to try to see if he can get traded somewhere else, which is odd to me. You don't really see that too often, where role players sit out to be traded. Like I don't know.
I mean, he's a vet though. Talking about Crowder, like I know,
but but you're talking about a team that was just in the finals 2 years ago, and you were a part of that finals run. Y'all get spanked in the last year, and instead of running it back to kind of get some of that, you got to get it back in blood somehow. But you just gonna leave?
I mean, players just want to leave. Players want to do their own thing. Like eventually,
well, then you don't sign that contract. He signed a contract with them though. You know what I mean?
It's baffling, but that also speaks towards the organization. Like maybe there was something else going on that we just don't know about, and maybe that derails them going forward. Like maybe the Suns are kind of playing. I think Ayton is just kind of like burying his head down and just trying to hoop. You know, CP3, all right, he doing what he does, and D-Book has actually taken another step for me. So I'm like, this Suns team has been playing pretty well. I can't be mad. Who would be your surprising team out of the East?
Probably the Cavaliers. I mean, no, not the Cavaliers, because they were that good at the beginning of last season, and then Garland got hurt, and that's kind of when they derailed. Surprising team in the East. I'm gonna be honest with you, the Bucks. I mean, I don't know, they're undefeated. Also, I drafted Chris Middleton. Everybody, hey, put me on the soapbox real quick. Put me in my box, okay? Because I drafted Chris Middleton, all right? When I drafted him, it said day to day. First day comes, he's out. I checked the little, okay, let me see what's going on. He out first game, ain't no big of a deal. They say, oh, he'll be back in a week or two, all right? We 10 games in, all right? I done had to make some shady trades, all right, on my end to try to justify the fact that I got Chris Middleton on that roster still, and I do it again. Okay, I definitely traded Giannis for Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum was going to win MVP. But I didn't know that Chris Middleton was going to never come back. So now Giannis is looking like the MVP. Shot myself in the foot. Thought I had something. All right, I'm done. Damn it. I thought I had something. I thought I had tricked the books, man.
I'm going to just let y'all know right now, too. I got Rob Williams on my team, so he been trying to finesse me all for Rob Williams.
Absolutely. I got Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. I'm trying to complete the unit, all right? The best unit. I'm trying to get Brogdon off somebody. I don't even want Al. Al, he a little step behind. But Brogdon, I'm going to get Brogdon. I'm gonna get Rob somehow. You know what? Chris Middleton for Rob. Talk to me.
That's tough.
Wow, you value holding out on me that much. You're willing. I just
that. Like you gotta understand,
like 27-7 for a guy.
Rob Williams is good on the defensive end. Plus, he still scores and gets me rebounds. Can facilitate.
He can have a 4.6 rebound game. And all of those defensive alterations, not blocks, talking about just him stopping folk from taking good shots, they ain't going to your fantasy points, all right? It don't show up there, okay? There's no category for that.
He don't get blocks and steals. He don't get me at least 10 points, 11, 12 rebounds. I think that's going to be worth something. And as a center who can also play power forward,
February. He's not playing until February.
That's a lie. He's going to play before then. He's gonna play before that. I got hope. I got hope. Yeah, I got hope. That's what I gotta say.
Too late.
Since you said the Bucks, right? Because I agree that was mine. But since you said the Bucks, I want to throw something out there at you, and let me just hear what your thoughts are about this. What about the Wizards and Knicks as like your surprise team? Because right now, if the season were to end, they'd be in the play-in, like ahead of the Nets, ahead of the 76ers, ahead of the Heat. Like if you were to call that at the beginning of the season.
Even as a Celtics fan, Knicks, they got a point guard. Alec Burks was their point guard last year. All right. I mean, you're supposed to get better. I have nothing else. I mean, I'm not surprised. They also
going on Jalen Brunson's defense too, though. There was a clip. I think you sent this to me where they were saying that it's his defense, I guess,
affecting everybody else. Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy who's 5'11" playing offense out there, he is a defensive liability. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. So it's kind of like the Knicks, however, took a gamble and went to go get a PG. And so he has had a couple double-doubles this season. Mm-hmm. And I think he was worth the investment. Regardless of what may be happening defensively, he is getting his guys easier shots, and they are better because of it.
I like the fact that they essentially have 3 players who are getting you almost 20 points a game.
Yep.
And now they just got to feel like the rest of the team, for example, I'm a big Cam Reddish fan. Mm-hmm. I think Cam can sneak you in there about 15. Then you got an Evan Fournier who, all right, I like him actually at the 8 to 10.
New York hates him. And I got a boy, one of my boys who's a New York fan told me that he will ship Evan Fournier back personally for free, and I could have $1 New York slices for the rest of my life.
That's so disrespectful.
I mean, they just moved him to the bench. I mean, Quentin Grimes, I haven't been following the kid, but Evan Fournier got moved to the bench for him.
Like that's so disrespectful, bro.
I don't know what happened to Evan Fournier though. I honestly don't know why Boston let go of him the way we did. I mean, like he wanted to get paid, and I knew that he didn't kind of fit our budget, I guess.
He wouldn't have fit y'all budget. He wouldn't have fit you. I think that was the big reason. And he wouldn't have taken that role, that backseat role.
I mean, but when the Warriors paid $400 million for their last championship, I feel like does the budget matter if you win? It's like
it does, because you got to ask yourself, is he going to help you win? And at that time, I don't know if he does.
Couldn't shoot. We lost a shooter. Couldn't shoot now. Don't get me wrong, though.
I'm not saying
we got 2 of the top 3 shooters in the league right now. But again, though, hindsight 2020, sure, but nobody can see into the future either. So I mean, it's kind of like you just kind of were like, nah, we'll just cut our losses. That's tough sometimes. And also,
that's really worked out for you guys.
$17 million TPE that we got for trading him, we didn't use. So we basically, literally got nothing in return for him going to New York. Nothing.
Well, I mean, something returned. Like, y'all continue to win. So I think that's something to at least consider. Like, maybe it just didn't work, like, with him. Like, he just didn't fit with the organization. That is a thing, too. Like, but so it's tough. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing you said? You said the Knicks and the Wizards.
Yeah, the Knicks and the Wizards.
I can't take DC sports serious on either side, football or basketball.
That's okay. I mean, that's tough. That is what it is. They're selling the team, by the way, the Commanders, but that's another story for another day. I gotta say, my surprise team for the West, right? You said Jazz earlier. I get you. I'm gonna say the Blazers. Not really surprised though, because again, I said they were like a play-in team. I think eventually they will drop a little bit more as teams start to like factor back in. Health comes back into like health starts to like really work for some teams.
I mean, yeah, Dame and Simons has been out the last 2 or 3 games, so
that too. But like I'm thinking like the Pelicans gonna go up. The Mavs should actually go up a little bit more too. Denver's been looking well, but it's really been Portland because again, like you said, Dame has been out a couple of games. Simon has missed 1 or 2, and they're still playing pretty well. It's a deep team, and the thing that they've always been missing is a bunch of wings, a bunch of bigger guards who can help guard other players. Like that's what you need in order to thrive in the NBA, and they got a plethora of that. Again, shout out to my boy Shaedon Sharpe for help proving the boy right. I'm just saying because he's been hooping. Like I think. Did I scoop him up on fantasy? I might have. Like they've been playing pretty. Josh Hart leading or second on the team in assists, or if not second, then third. Like that's what you have to have. People out there helping out Nurkic so that way he's not the only rebounder on the team. You got the dudes out there, like I said. You got people like Jeremy Grant. I know you're not.
They got Winslow over there too, right?
You said what?
They got Justice Winslow over there too.
They got Winslow. They got
Jeremy Grant, Winslow, and Nasir Little. It's a nice little rotation right there.
Exactly. So again, like I know you're not as high on Jeremy Grant right now. You want him to be doing a little bit more.
I mean, he was my guy for maybe getting an MIP nod again.
No, I'm saying, I bet you want him to do more though. You want him to do more. I'm cool with him at his 18 a game. Now I hear you on the defensive end, like all right, 0.8 blocks. He's the type of guy who can get me like 1 and 1.5.
Yeah, right? And I mean his rebound numbers too. I mean,
4 rebounds is low. 4 rebounds is low. You expect him to get a little bit more too. I get that.
Yeah.
It's also early, like I said, but again, just that team how they're playing pretty well. I like how they're looking, so that would have to be my surprise team. Again, I think they will drop a little bit, but I wasn't expecting. I think they were like higher than number 4 too at one point in time. So that's my surprise team. So what if the Blazers make it to the finals?
They're gonna get beat badly by the Celtics, but I'd enjoy watching this.
That's crazy. So you got the Celtics beating the Nets and the Bucks and the Cavs, who y'all have lost to twice already. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The Hawks.
We have not. Again, somebody. I mean, I can't think who, but somebody keeps telling me that we're missing Rob and that things are gonna be all right.
That's crazy. He sounds like a smart gentleman right there, or lady. I don't know who it was. You didn't give me anything yet, but I'm just saying they sound pretty smart. But you also been saying that Rob's not going to come back healthy. So I guess if I'm listening to you, I'm not really seeing you guys beat the Cavs. So if Rob don't come back healthy, it could be a little troublesome. But whoever
we'll get Dwight Howard.
Who? Hey, I'm just letting you know right now. You better get him before the Nets do.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Lakers as well. Speaking of Lakers, they are playing the Cavs.
What's going on?
I have not a clue. I just saw that it was 3:48 actually.
Oh yeah. No,
we're up 3 though. We're up 3. So, and I think Garland.
Y'all up 6.
Well, mine said 10 to 7 on ESPN.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm on the NBA app. Okay, so they must have just been great.
Gotcha. Yeah, Garland and Mitchell are playing. They were listed as day-to-day, so they seem like
they're weird. And I think I got Garland on the bench. See, this is that. I want you to know, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I had him in the lineup. Oh, never mind, I got him in there. I had him in the lineup, and it said day-to-day. I'm like, he ain't got no reason not to play. I opened the app, out. I'm just like, what's going on? But I don't know, though. His eye actually looks really bad. Like he was saying, like they were saying during the broadcast, that like he sees red, like from the blood and stuff. Yeah, and then they were zooming in on him during the game, bro. Like his eye is like shut in comparison to his other one. Which made it ridiculous that he went 4-4 from the 3-point line, by the way, to start the game. It made sense.
You get so when I'm wearing when I don't wear my contacts or glasses, sometimes you have to just really focus on your mechanics. And when you like are limited, it's almost like if you lose the ability to like see
your other senses
are heightened. So that might work for him too. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it always works out, because you can go mess up that plenty of times. But he's a professional again, so I'm assuming he's mainly focusing on that form and really focusing on those key points. So, but it is still crazy nonetheless. 14-7, we might win this one. That's not bad. Although we have given up a leader too, so we'll let y'all know how that goes. But Reese, I greatly appreciate you coming on the show again. We'll definitely bring you back on per usual. You got anything you want to say to the folks before we close up shop?
Malcolm Brogdon, 6th Man of the Year. Jason Tatum, MVP. All right. Grant Williams, MIP. Okay. Look at the numbers, everybody. Look at the numbers. Okay. You don't have to go from scoring 20 to 25 like John Morant or anything like that. But when you can be top 3 in the league in 3-point and effective field goal percentage off the bench like he's doing, I'm just saying it's possible. Okay. Defensive Player of the Year, Jason Tatum. Y'all heard it here first. He had 4 blocks. He had 4 blocks against the Cavaliers. Had 2 or 3 last night against the Knicks. Defensive Player of the Year, Jason Tatum. MVP, Jason Tatum. You know, that sounds like go resume. We're on the way. Finals MVP, all in the same season. We're going to do it. We're going to create the triathlon straight like that. We're going to do that. Complete it. Everybody, thank you.
That's good optimism you have there, sir. That's very good optimism you have there.
Yep.
I'm not that optimistic about my team. I don't think we're gonna boast an MVP, maybe a defensive player of the year, but I wouldn't bet on it. Maybe sixth man of the year because they got Russell on the bench, which again, I said last season, let's move him to the bench. But that's just me though. But you know, we're here now.
Hey, good things come to those who wait.
I've been waiting for Braun to get off my team, and he has still been on it. We ain't had nothing good.
All right.
I don't know.
I can't end this from my end. I don't have a button over
here. I
here.
don't know what to tell you. But they say good things who wait, apparently. So what happened to those who wait? We'll see. But until next time, y'all won't have to wait that long. We'll have something else dropping too. I assume so. Until next time, see y'all.
Peace.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.